What is going on, traders, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you. Now in this video, I'm going over my watch list for the trading week of October 3rd, 2022. Let's get to it. All right, first up, the catalyst of the week. Now we have quite a few reports coming out, starting off with the U.S. job market report, and that's going to show how the labor market is holding up against the Fed rate hikes. We're also going to have non-farm and private sector payroll, followed up by the manufacturing reports. But what has got my attention this week is what's rumored to be going on at Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank. Now, the fear of these banks having possible default issues could cause ripple effects throughout the banking sector, and as a result, it could send a lot of other bank stocks falling. Okay? Now, it's a lot to take in, but I'll go ahead and link a couple of articles in the description to explain it a little further. And as you know, when it comes to these catalysts, as we've seen over the last few months, how the market reacts to them is purely speculation. So all we can do is prepare for both directions of the price action and see what happens, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at this week's earnings calendar. All right, so we have another light week, but man, do I regret not taking the lotto play on Nike last week. It made a really big move to the downside and a lot of people got paid. So if you're a part of that, congrats. But anyway, there's no real earnings plays that I'm interested in this week, so let's go ahead and look at some charts. All right, so we're going to start off with the indexes. First up is the QQQ, and here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart. Now, the line in the sand last week was $270. That was the June of this year's lows, okay? Now, my new line in the sand is around $261. Well, let's go ahead and look at the bullish scenario first. Now, right now, we're sitting around $267. The QQQ needs to get above $270. And if it can, the first level that I'm looking for at the test is around $278. If it can get through that, up to $290. Okay, now the bearish scenario, if the QQQ cannot get above $270, I'm looking for it to drop down to around $261. If it can't hold that, all the way down to around $237. Now, just for context, I do have this level down here of $165.50. That is the pandemic lows, okay? And it'd be crazy if we fell all the way down to this point. We're just gonna have to wait and see, all right? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. Up next is the SPY, and here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart. Now, the level we were watching on this one was $360. It did struggle at that level, but it ended up closing around $357. So first off, the bullish scenario, the SPY needs to get above $360. If it can, the first level that I'm looking for at the test is $369. If it can get through that, $375. Through that one, $386. Now, if it cannot get above $360, I'm looking for it to drop down to around $339, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, so the first stock we're going to look at is Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, and here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart. Now, on last week's watch list, one of the levels mentioned to the downside was $139, and we ended up closing at $138, so that was a nice play right here to the downside. But let's go ahead and look at the bullish scenario first. Like I said, we're sitting around $138. Now, Apple needs to get above $140, and if it can, the first level that I'm looking for at the test is $147.50. If it can get through that, up to $151.50. If it can get through that, up to $157. Now, the bearish scenario, if it cannot get above $140, I'm looking for Apple to eventually drop down to $132, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, up next is United Parcel Service, ticker symbol UPS, and here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart. Now, I'll show you why this one made my watch list. Two things: this very strong support level of $154, and on the volume profile, this small accumulation area between $154 and $125, okay? That's the reason why I'm watching this one. But let's go ahead and take a look at the bullish scenario first. Right now, it's sitting around $161.50. UPS needs to get above $163. If it does, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around $167. If it can get through that, $168.50. If it can get through that, all the way up to $177.50. Now the bearish scenario, if it cannot get above $163, I'm looking for it to drop down to this very strong support level of $154. Now in the coming weeks, if it cannot hold $154, the next level down is all the way down here to 125, and that will be a fantastic short. So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, and the last one we're going to look at is Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA, and here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart. Now last week we were watching this $120 level, and Nvidia was able to hold that sitting around $121.50. So this week, the bullish scenario, it needs to once again hold at $120. If it can, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is $123. If it can get through that, all the way up to around $135.50. Okay, now the bearish scenario, if it cannot hold $120, I'm looking for it to drop down to around $115. And if it can't hold 115, all the way down to around 110. Now looking at this volume profile here, you can see that once it gets past $100, if it keeps falling, the next level is going to be around 95. So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. And that is the end of the video. If you found value, please smash that like button and consider subscribing. Here's wishing you a prosperous week of trading, and until next week, talk to you later.